friends, this is Bamboo Love coming to you with another A Thought. And the A Thoughts again are just topic sentences. That's just my name for it, but it's really just a topic sentence that means that the rest of what I say has to do or expands on this particular topic sentence. And the A Thought today is not actually one of my own. I'm going to take it from this lovely book right here. You can see it, Marianne Williamson's Return to Love. And this book is great, by the way. So if you guys pick it up, read it. And I'm taking it from page 210, and it says, as long as we believe there is scarcity inside us, we'll continue to manufacture I think it's scarcity. Let's try that again. As long as we believe there's scarcity inside us, we'll continue to manufacture scarcity around us, because that is our basic thought. No matter what we get, it will never be enough. So it's a quote that I'm taking out of her book, and I love this book. And this book helped me a lot with my concept and my ideas on money. And so that's kind of what I'm talking to you about right now. And I know that a lot of times we don't think sometimes of spirituality and money, but obviously money is a part of all of our lives. And I know they don't teach us about money in college. And I know I wasn't talked about money when I was a kid. And I think that as I got older, I kind of had to figure out, well, okay, how to administer money, how do you do money, all these things that come when you open a bank account, how do you invest, how do you have a CD, all these different terms that are out there that, mind you, that's not my area of expertise, so I don't even know if I'm saying certain things right, but I connect all these concepts to my spirituality because that's what I do. I talk about inner ambiance. So the way that I came to learn about how to view money and understand money was through my spirituality. We've been taught, and I know I've been taught, so a lot of people I know, I've heard this, have been taught that money is hard to come across. You have to work hard to get money. If you're not born into money, then it almost seems impossible to get money. That, everybody's heard money doesn't grow on trees, so don't waste money, don't do this, don't do that with money. And sometimes there's this concept that, those that have money will just keep getting money. And those that don't have money, well, they're never going to get more money. So there's that idea around money, that money is the root of all evil, that, that's why people lose their way because of money, or because they became wealthy financially. So I'm coming to you with a different perspective on money. I know for me, it was very difficult. Money had a very strong hold on my life. I gave money a lot of power. And what I mean by that is, for instance, I was going to school, and I'm actually a Canadian citizen, and now I'm a permanent American resident. But because when I was in school as a Canadian citizen, I couldn't apply for all these wonderful loans that are out there to help you go through school. I had to get private loans. So a lot of the times with these private loans, the interest is different and the repayment schedules are different. So when I got these loans, I had no concept of what I was doing. I didn't have a concept of like, oh, I'm taking out all this money and I have to pay it back. And I know some of you might be thinking like, how did you not know that? Well, let me tell you, I didn't know that. Okay, that's just where I was. That's what I'm saying. That's where I was with money. And the stronghold from money came that I didn't have a lot of integrity when it came to money. So for instance, like if someone was to lend me money, I was like, oh, should I pay them back? Maybe I should get this first and then pay them back. I had this concept of like, I had all these loans now that I took out, and instead of taking enough to get me through school and to pay for my, my necessities, I would take larger amounts just so that I could buy things. I was all into the shopping, so just so I could buy things that I felt were going to make me happy. So money was causing a lot of issues in different parts of my life. And I know I've listened to a lot of Susie Orman lectures, and I know she would say, no, take enough, like budget, take what's enough for you, because believe it or not, you end up having to pay these things back with interest. And it's just not an honest way of living. If you can buy what you can buy, and you can buy it up cash, or you can pay it at the end of the month, which is what she recommends, put it on credit but pay it at the end of the month, then you're living a life of integrity and honesty. But if you're spending on things that you cannot afford, and then you spend like years having to pay this back, then it's kind of like, well, that wasn't really you to begin with. So it's living a little bit more honest, but I did not know how to do that. This was the control that money had over me, and I felt that if I had more money, I would be happy. And the way I thought I would get more money is if I hung onto the money that I had. So I had this tight, close grip on the money that I had. I don't view myself as being very generous at those times in my life. I didn't tip great at the restaurants. It's like I tipped barely the whatever I could tip. so that I could just be okay with it. And then maybe sometimes I probably tipped them less. It's a very grimy attitude. That's what I would call it. Grimy attitude towards money. And this was going on for a really long time in my life. And even as I continued in my spiritual journey, for a while there, I didn't understand. By this point in my journey, I had all these loans. I had graduated from college, and I didn't understand, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to get out of debt? Because that's the thing about that once you're in it, you can't see beyond it. And then along came all these different spiritual books that I started to read. And with this book, when I started to read these particular chapters that Marianne Williamson writes about love, I started to comprehend money. I started to completely change my perspective on not only my perception on money, but how to get money or how to make money in life. And one of the first things that I realized is that we have judgments on money. So what do I mean by that? We judge things based on money, meaning like if something, let's say for instance, if you're going to spend $100 on a purse, it's too much. And the words that we use are expensive and inexpensive. And I've noticed people use these a lot. And it gives, I think, money a lot of power. Because we look at a purse and we say, that's too expensive because it's $100. That is a judgment on the purse, okay? That is what we're doing. Really, it's just a purse. And somebody worked hard to put the purse together. So there was craftsmanship that was put into the purse. There was a service that was provided. And, I love purses, so I think some purses are really beautiful. Like, that probably is worth $100 or more. But when you say, oh, it's not worth that much or that's too much, then all of a sudden there's a judgment created that either you're too good of a person to spend that amount on that purse because there's other things that you could be doing with your money. So it's basically saying that there's other things that are worth more or are more good, quote unquote, than buying a purse. Or some people buy, like when people buy, these designer sunglasses that obviously are more than just, your regular sunglasses. And they say, oh, I would never spend that much on sunglasses. So now it's becoming, you're judging not just the sunglasses for the amount that you need to pay for to have the sunglasses, but also you're judging the person that is buying the sunglasses because you're looking at them like, how could you spend that much on money? I mean, how could you spend that much money on sunglasses? Sorry. So that is a judgment in itself. So it creates a lot of this judgment attitude that we feel that, then we start feeling like people that have more money than us, they've got these moral attributes that we don't want to have. We need to not have money so that we don't become like that. And instead of, spending on sunglasses, we go and try to help, like, feed the hungry, which is perfectly fine. But the thing that we have to realize is that we could be doing those things already. We could already be helping other people, and it's not about, okay, let me judge something because it's more money or less money. It's about giving up that sense of giving money that kind of power. And I think money could be used for many great things that people have used it for, depending on the energy that you put into the money. So everything in our lives, and this is why it's important that everything in our lives, even money, gets surrendered to this idea of inner ambience, this idea of God, of this space within us that makes everything different. It gives it light. It allows it to not serve just our purpose, but to serve the purpose of the world. And once that happens, anything, even money, becomes something different. The other concept I was talking about is love. And I love, Marianne Williamson does an amazing job of explaining this. My take on it is I call it do love. Do what you love to do, because you'll do what you love to do no matter if nobody's paying you to do it. That's just the reality. When you find yourself going to work and you're like, oh, it's because I have to make money, probably you don't like what you do. That's just the way it works. Because if you loved what you do it anyways. Like the things that you love to do, like if you like singing, you'll sing in the shower, you'll sing anywhere you go, you'll be listening to music on your iPod. And it probably means that's something you love to do because no one's paying you to do that. Maybe nobody's paying you, or some people might be paying you. And I don't know if there's a job out there. Does anybody know a job where they pay you to listen to your iPod? That would be pretty cool. But if you love music, you would do it. I know I wouldn't, because I don't know if I want to walk around with my iPod all day. So there's other things that I enjoy doing that I would do. I know it's one of those things like personal shoppers. Someone used to tell me you should be a personal shopper because I like to shop that much. But it turns out I didn't really like to shop that much. But doing the things that we love, and we think that, doing the things that we love wouldn't be good enough. Like, that's not going to make us money. But the reality it is. And in this little book, like I was telling you, there's a whole section on money that Marianne Williamson talks about. And it's great because she talks, this part I like, she says that contrary to the ego's arguments, and remember the ego is this metaphysical voice that tells us that we're not good enough and we need to be scared, and it helps us focus its job usually is to help us focus on fear instead of focusing on love. And it says that contrary to the ego's arguments, love is actually good business. And I love that because it's true. When you do anything to do with business, anything to do with money, when you do it infused with love, it becomes something completely different. Like as I'm sitting here talking to you guys on this video vlog, I realize, I love to do this. I love having the space to talk to someone about all these things that I think make the world a wonderful place, like love, even money, and give it a different take and connect with different people. And I love to do that, and this is, for me, this right now isn't my everyday job. What I do as an everyday job to pay the bills basically is I work at a school, and I actually love also working at the school because I love working with children. I love kids, any kind of kid, little kid, teenager, high school, it doesn't matter. I love kids. I love young people. And that sustains me. That's how I make, and I love going to work every day when I go to work, because I know that is what I love to do. And I know for me, like I was telling you with all this college and all stuff, my goal has been to use law of attraction and not focus on what I don't want. So not think about the debt and all that stuff, but to focus on what I do want. And I focus on what I call doing love. I focus on the fact that I know that doing what I love makes me happy. It changes my whole perspective on this idea of money and how to make money and how to get money. And it's an ambition. Living infused with love is very ambitious. I have to focus on every day. I surrender when I wake up in the morning. I have to give it over to the universe, give it to God, and be like, okay, God, you show me today how I'm going to do love today, how I'm going to make a difference today by doing love, and how that is going to sustain me. And reading Gabrielle Bernstein's Add More into your life, she talks about writing out how you're going to manifest certain things in your life. And I'm very grateful for that because I actually wrote out this whole little statement of how, I think I call it the I am proclamation. That's what I call it. So that I can proclaim to the universe, I'm serious about this now. I'm going to do love. I'm going to do what I love to do. And I want that to become I want that to sustain me. I want that to financially sustain me, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I know that as I work on these things for myself and I share them with others, it's the power of love, of doing what I love, that will change things around me, that potentially will change this world. So if I sat here and thought that within myself I was lacking, because that's what the A thought was about, of not having enough within yourself, that's what I would create around me. But I know that within me, with the power of the universe, with the power of God working through my inner ambiance, I have enough love to not only transform myself, but to also transform the people around me and to transform this planet that we live on. And that sounds crazy, but that is how I perceive my relationship with money now. Instead of focusing on the money aspect of it, the interest and the credit card and all that, and I do, like I said, I do read some Susie Orman that I find relevant to me, but when it goes into too many specifics about numbers and stuff, I get a little lost. So what I do, and I find to be very practical, is I just release it. I just focus on doing the love part, doing what I enjoy to do, and letting everything else take care of the rest. Letting the universe take care of the rest. Just embrace it. I wake up in the morning, and it's an everyday thing. I wake up, I focus on my proclamation, I focus on it at night, and I'm starting to realize these changes that love is having in my life as I choose not to focus on debt, as I choose not to focus on student loans, as I choose not to focus on money. I'm slowly starting to shift my perception of this world, and it's starting to create the things in my life that I'm choosing for my life, and it's starting to create the life that I'm choosing for myself. So that is the A thought for today. Let me read it one more time for you. That's our topic sentence. As long as we believe there is scarcity inside us, we'll continue to manufacture scarcity around us, because that is our basic thought. So allow your basic thought to be about love. Allow it to be do love. Do what I love to do. That should be the first thought that wakes up in the morning, because God is love and love is God. And that is how you want to start off your day, and that is how you want to infuse and create your money with that energy of love. This is Bamboo Love. Live life and create.